Well, and it seems like, the players were mentioning their matchup view a bit where it feels like this patch is a lot more about fighting a lot more constantly, invading enemy jungle. Sanking really good at that. Like, you're not relying on some big... I mean, Epicenter is a long cooldown, but your Burrow Strike is what allows you to fight. Sandstorm allows you to maybe go invade enemy jungle, steal their stack. So it does feel like this more active hero than some of the slower pace offlaners that were more popular last patch.
100%. And his damage output with the 15-minute shard, I would say, is really good as well. I'm not sure if that's the build that pros have been going. However, what the shard gives is it gives a pulse, an epicenter pulse around him every I can't remember 700 units.
Yeah, I think it's either 700 or 800.
Yeah, it's around there, and also it increases the damage of the pulses by 20 on the ult. So
that's a big one.
Yeah, you get that 15 minutes. You have your blink dagger. You're doing so much damage. It's really nice. I don't know. I think he just feels really great right now, and pair it with a Grimstroke. That's like even more damage. A nice combo in lane. I mean, it's just good.
One of the things Fnatic's draft, we didn't really touch on when the gyro was picked, is that this is a hero that flexes a bit. It's becoming, I think, more a 5 position just with this homing missile, rocket barrage build. With the shard, you just do this crazy magic damage. And the homing missile stuns for a long ass time. I think there's like a plus stun duration talent that just makes it into this 4-second stun or something. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. I don't read numbers.
Someone
or patch notes.
fact check gods over here, please.
4.2 second stun.
An 800-second stun. Can you believe it?
Literally the whole game they're stunned
I can't
for.
believe it.
It's insane.
But yeah, they get the Morphling. So we're going to see, it looks like Raven Morphling, kind of a classic pick for him.
Definitely. Well, look, we're coming to the end of the draft, and you guys know what that means. It means we get 2 more awesome people to join us, and we can hear their opinions on it, and this time it is still gonna be Mike and John. Hello, guys, and welcome back for joining us with the drafts and seeing how they're unfolding. This time I'm actually going to start with you, Mike.
Wow. I mean, OB.Neon's draft looks really good, right? Like, much easier to execute, and you've got the disgusting combo of Ember Coddle and Sand King Grimstroke. It's pretty yuck here from OB.Neon, but at the same time, you got Morph into TB, right? It feels like a decent Morph game now, unless I'm missing something.
It was TB into Morph, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, right.
They were like, we'll pick TB into the Morph. Usually it's the other way around.
I think it's nice though, right? Because Morphling can't buy E-Blade anymore due to the changes. The build-up is now Kaya and stuff instead of Agi orientated, so he can't do that magic burst onto Terrorblade anymore. And Terrorblade obviously a natural Skadi builder, so it does have that nice advantage there in the matchup now.
Well, there you go. That could have been the little bit that you were missing, Mike. But this final pick, Hoodwink. John, please tell me, rounding out Fnatic's draft, how much do you like it?
It plays well with your team fight, right? Like, they've got a lot of control with the gyrocopter, with the Tusk, and now with a Hoodwink as well. So they've got a lot of team fight that can come through that's not constrained to too long cooldowns compared to Epicenter coming out from Neon. But I think Neon still has a run and gun going. You don't necessarily need Epicenter when you've got Illuminate at max, when you've got the Inkswell on top. I think Neon's still going to be able to play much more aggressive in comparison to Fnatic with his closeout.
Well, before I hand off to you guys and do a really quick prediction, just the team name, that's all you get. One word, and it's the team name.
Fnatic.
Neon Gang.
Well, you have it divided here. I'm going to ask you both the same question, Mike and John. Who are you guys predicting as you take it away for Game 1 between OB.Neon and Fnatic?
Fnatic, I'd say, John. I mean, look, drafts aside, I think Fnatic is the better team, but go on, Jonathan, go against me.
I can't not cheer for Neon when they've got 2 Davawenyas, you know, Mike. They're from my city. They're repping my place. So I've got to say they're going to win, and I'm keen to see if they can. It's a tough one. But this Neon has surprised us, Mike. You know, we've seen them in Pro Series. There was a time when Asta wasn't even in, Chuan was playing, and they still look good. So I think this is a team that can surprise us, and if there's any series that they can surprise us in, this is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, watch the bias, right? I mean, talents tomorrow. Watch the bias for now, John. You're getting a bit too excited here with OB.Neon, though I do agree with you. I mean, OB.Neon's been they've been that team that always surprises us over and over again. And, you know, there I am doubting every single time, every time they've got a new roster, but they prove me wrong. And you know what, John? I hope they do it tonight as well. I do, because I want a close series.
Yeah, I think this should be close. I think going back to what the panel was saying, Fnatic's just been a little bit up and down. We expected a little bit more out of them post DPC. Regional finals just felt shaky. I was having a chat with Fnatic for Media Day, and the feedback seems to be that they feel like they're not in top form because they're not in the team house yet. Guess what, Mike? They're planning to be in the Philippines as well. So, you know, eventually they'll be up there, I believe, somewhere in Manila. I think the place is still being set up, but they're going to be there. And we might see that full power Fnatic. Right now, still split up. So maybe some of that factor is still in where they just feel like they're not as focused. They feel like their comms aren't coming through as clear because they're not physically together yet.
Yeah. For the viewers out there, by the way, we are currently waiting at a bit of a pause. But, John, I mean, considering how many teams are in the Philippines right now for boot camp here from SCA, can we not just have an SCA major of some sort or an SCA LAN? I mean, we've got that many teams. Can we not just have another Manila major going on? I mean, do you remember a better major than the Manila major? I don't.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Definitely not. And I think we could. You know, I'd love that. I did mention before, you know, everyone that's been coming into the Philippines ends up in Jollibee first. There's an opportunity to get guys from corporate. If anyone's listening, there's a chance for a Jolly LAN. I'm sure the players would love it.
You don't call their names out yet, Jonathan. When they throw the money at us, then we'll start calling their names out. All right. Till then, we'll call it a Jolly LAN if it ever happens. Still, I believe we are going to be able to get into game number 1 here between OB.Neon and Fnatic, because it does seem like the teams have reconnected. Or not. We'll find out very, very soon. Oh, never mind. We are going into it. Thank you for that production. Game number 1 here, as we do have a first blood on the way immediately, as they have found out the Grimstroke Sword Bang is going to end up dropping immediately. Mel to take first blood on the Dragon Knight. It's a really fantastic start here for Fnatic.
Yeah, and that's all off the back of a little bit of all chat coming in. You know, it's a sort of rambulan with a lot of Filipinos in this fight. Abeng was just saying that, you know, stop all chatting, Armel, you're just using DJs. And then he gets killed for that. So, you know, you watch your all chat, guys. You might get bitten in the bum, you know, just in case sometimes. It just bites back, Mike.
Yeah, no, certainly so. And of course, shout out to Sheepo. She got a voice line for OB.Neon, right?
Oh, yes. She's got a good one in there. Neon Gang.
It is a good one. It is a good one. Congratulations to her. We'll go ahead and buy the supporter pack as well. We got to support other casters and other talent, especially the good ones.
Of course, of course. That means we're not going to mention Neff anytime, right?
Neff. How's Neff come into this?
He's got a voice line too, I think, somewhere in there in Wildcard.
Does he really?
I think so. But you mentioned good, Mike, so I don't know.
I'm very well aware what I said. Thank you, John. We definitely won't be venturing down that route. I'll tell you that. Still, we'll start with the top lane here. You've got the Morphling being played by Raven. Of course, he'll be supported there by Genuel. And you're going to have Jing on that position for Keeper of the Light with Enryu on the Sand King. Now, John, this lane does feel like it could be quite devastating here for the Morph. That being said, the Pulse 5 Gyrocopter has proven to be very strong. I feel like if Jing does get kind of close to this Gyro, probably going to end up dying, especially once he hits that level 3 mark.
Yeah, it's really aggressive for the side of Fnatic, but Neon can be really aggressive too. They've got the Burrow Strike into Illuminate. Level 3 Spike's also pretty big for the Keeper of the Light, so they can melt through the Morphling.
It's actually a great voice line. It's a great voice line, it really is.
But yeah, I think the one thing for Raven here is he's got to watch himself pre-level 3. Level 1 attribute shift, very vulnerable to that burst damage coming out from Neon. And for Neon, even past that level 3 mark, Enryu at the very least can still farm up really well. He can play with a Sandstorm, he can force a bit of an economy fight. Januel's going to have to buy a couple of sentries in this lane. I'm sure Jing's going to be ready to reciprocate in kind for that.
Let's talk about bot lane as well, John. You've got DJ and Jams there against a Bing, and of course Asta. Lane does seem like it could be quite detrimental here towards OB.Neon, especially if you do get caught in that tag team and Bushwhack. At least for now, though, Jabs hasn't bothered going for the tag team yet, but I imagine as the levels do go up, things get a lot scarier. And you really take that Bushwhack here against the Hoodwink with the tag team. I feel like you're just guaranteed to die, especially as the support Grimstroke.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage coming through. And speaking of, there was a lot of damage coming up top as well. Johnny Wells starting to drop low, but I am keen to see that aggression for Fnatic on the off. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Jabs on his off lane being kind of maybe one of the weaker points of Fnatic as a team. I think Tuskasy here, he knows really well. He played a lot of it when he was playing Pause 4. Of course, it's not the easiest lane to manage up against Terrorblade. Whenever Asta does have Metamorphosis, he can trade really easily up against that Tusk and just manage the lane. Although, for the first few waves, hasn't been going too well for Asta. He's been holding on to the Metamorphosis. Not too much Abing can do. He's just constantly getting bushwhacked by DJ. So, good zoning out in the Grimstroke. Not much threat from the Stroke of Fate or the Inkswell coming out here to be aggressive. And that's giving a lot of room for Jabs to get that initial farm here.
Yeah, certainly so. And Jabs, I mean, Pulse 3 Tusk is not something you get to see every day, but can have a hell of a lot of impact as the game goes on, as the Shard's now going to fly out. They do have the tag team going. Asta, he's going to take a lot of damage here on this Terrorblade, but he does have the stick charges. So he's going to be salved up by a bang, but John, you see how impactful that tag team can be with the Bushwhack. And that's only at level 1 tag team.
It's going to do a lot more as it builds up. And for the side of Neon, they've got to be able to tempo themselves around Metamorphosis, try to look for those opportunities with the Inkswell. Jabs is currently alone right now, so they're applying some good pressure, just not enough to look for that kill. Doesn't have the value point in Snowball. This is your window. Without Snowball, Tusk has a little bit of a harder time in saving himself with just the shards. Right.
We do have a bit of FPS drops here for Asta. Very happy to hear, by the way, while we're in a pause, John, we have a spring cleaning patch coming up. Very, very excited. Hopefully. Oh, here we are. We're back on camera. That's good. So, hopefully, the FPS issues get resolved, John. My poor 1060 can't handle the FPS in Dota 2 anymore. I need some help, Val. Please, think about us in the south.
Yeah, well, I've been pretty happy since they disabled game state integration. That little thing you have to add now if you have tooltips and stuff. I've been getting 144. Granted, I'm rendering at like 80% resolution, but I'm getting my frame rate. So the improvements are coming out, Mike, slowly but surely. We're gonna get there.
Is that why you got your eye surgery on? You just want to see more frames. You need to see every single frame that goes past. Now that you've got 144 going.
Neon gang.
It's honestly getting this for the game feels detrimental because now I can't blame my bad eyesight, right? So once the eyes stabilize, I have nothing to blame but myself. That's not good.
That is very true, Jonathan. As we do get into game number 1 once again. Quick pause was there, but we are back into it. Still, the one lane we haven't really talked about much is the mid lane. You've got Avatar mode against Armel, DK versus Ember. Yes, I realize it's probably the most boring lane in this game so far, but John, can you talk about the mid lane just for a little bit? Who has the advantage?
They both just farm. There's no real advantage here, Mike. Maybe Armel feels a little bit better because he doesn't waste as much mana to harass out Ember. You don't burn through his entire Flame Guard. You still do damage to him, so it feels nicer having that value point in Breathe Fire. And you're not as pressured to pick up the runes here on the DK, so you can just hold mid, keep farming, keep getting what you want. You are seeing that difference come out. Avatar mode a bit behind. Usually you don't see an Ember this far behind, almost a creep wave down, but Armel is highly experienced and just showing true in this matchup. For Avatar mode, gonna need that level 6 before you can really look for that burst potential with the Remnants out.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, top lane Raven, be careful, sir. The Illuminate is gonna fly through, but it's not enough damage as now Januel gonna turn back around on the Keeper of the Light. Hell of a lot of damage being dealt here by this Gyrocopter. There's Jing, he was trying to just snipe Raven with that low HP pull, but just didn't quite have enough, so instead they'll go back into the Gyrocopter, try for the support kill, but Januel gonna be a little bit too tanky himself on this Gyro, and is gonna be able to back off quite successfully. So I suppose if you are OB.Neon in this top lane, Enryu is still farming very well, so it's still very happy days here for OB.Neon.
Yeah, they're still finding farm. Enryu's number 1 in CS, so he's managed to control the lane really well.
Yeah, bang. We chase down. Jabs should have the kill, as he does have the shards up. We'll be able to find it. A very nice pick up there for Fnatic. Again, you've got to try and be as aggressive as possible with this laning stage from Fnatic, at least in this off lane, considering the duo you do have. I do find there are, well, I believe their second kill.
Yeah, I think the benefit here for Neon is that the aggression's not on Asta. So some of that pressure in this lane from TV is relieved.
Yeah, mid lane Avatar mode, gonna get sniped there by DJ, as now they even found a Bang who tried to TP in and help out, but he only feeds the beast more, as Armel will start pushing down the tier 1 mid tower, and well, that was really just a fantastic rotation out from DJ.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see here for Neon early on. Fnatic just getting that aggression going. We heard the players, We heard DJ say a good Fnatic game is one where they win their lanes. They're definitely finding all the wins they can so far. RML just hitting that early level 6, having the Dragon Form, having the range Dragon Tail with no way to dodge here. Without the remnants on Avatar mode, the moment he commits Sleight of Fist for the wave, he's under threat for a kill. So I love this coming out from Fnatic. They're executing really cleanly, 0-4, less than 1k lead. The only hurting point is maybe that initial farm for Raven on the Morphling. It is going a little bit slower than you'd want, but he is at least keeping up pace with within 3 CS of a Terrorblade who's already in jungle. It's not the worst thing to see for Fnatic, and as they hit more level spikes, it just is set to ramp up. Like once you have that punch from Jabs, should be able to line up and look for more kills as well.
Jing can't get close there to Genuel. Again, the damage output can get quite high, but Genuel out of mana this time. Does have Mango if he wanted, but doesn't really choose to pop it as Enryu was currently missing off the map. Bot lane, a bang. Oh, wasn't actually spotted out, but DJ does get the bushwhack anyway, and that'll allow Jabs to move in and feed off the body of a bang. As DJ this time around will take it on the Hoodwink. So they aren't really finding Aster on the Terrorblade, but they are certainly feeding off this position 5 Grimstroke.
And that's still going to enable this huge build-up for Fnatic. Early net worth coming in for DJ to play a little bit greedier, for Jabs to get his key items up, phase boots up. His Walrus Punch does a lot of damage up top, Enryu.
Yeah, in trouble. They'll try to Burrow Strike away from this one, but the waveform is there from Raven. Not quite actually landing the damage with that waveform, but it won't matter too much as DJ now with a great bushwhack. Knowing exactly where to throw it, is going to be able to set up for a Sand King kill. There's nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, they're just cleaning up, and that was the one lane for Neon that felt like they were really winning. That initial farm in Enryu is big. They're not able to back him up. They're much more focused on their other lanes. They're trying to build up for Avatar mode. Recently, for this new lineup of Neon, from the few games we've seen from them in Pro Series, it does feel like a lot of their momentum comes out from Avatar mode. Right, like he tends to be the big playmaker on his mid. He is going for the physical Ember build up here, so it is a Desolator phase boots build, which means that, you know, he can clear out the creep waves relatively fast. It does feel like that build can take a while to really get running. You're going to rely on everyone else to sort of burst, as the Ember with a Sleight of Fist feels like you have to wait for a little bit more in levels and talents to really maximize it. Still, aggression from Fnatic. RML rotates bot, just wants to shove in a tower with that Dragon Form.
Very interesting rotation here from Armel, but it may not work out as the snowball is there from Jabs to try and get away from OB.Neon, but they're going to feed a kill over to Avatar mode now. And Armel, I feel like he was trying to rotate to actually catch out Aster. In the meantime, top lane, they aren't trying to take down Enryu, and they might just get him. Raven able to trade very efficiently across the map. I'm not sure about that rotation from Armel. I believe he wanted the fight, but he kind of just ends up allowing the Tusk to die.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. He didn't have the backing of their supports as well. As we saw DJ up top playing with that Enryu kill. It's not the worst loss in the world, but it still does slow down that push. Dragon Form's on cooldown for half a minute. Fnatic will rotate elsewhere though, with Jabs around and Johnny. Good smoke break by Jing, but...
Yeah, he just TP'd back to the lane, John. This is not fun times for the Sand King as they've got him again. Oh, DJ's setting up everything. Another great bushwhack from our Hoodwink. Tips out for Enryu. Jab just rubbing salt into the wound of the Sand King. And he'll have to make the walk of shame back to a lane as even Genuel gets involved.
Yeah, you gotta let your former teammates know, you know? Remember? And so just really proving the point there on Fnatic's end. 1-8, really
chance.
strong start.
A bang. No, never mind. Jabs is in trouble now. He may have gone too far, but the snowball is going to buy a bit of time as a bang may drop and does to Genuel, but Jabs, he's a man on the run. Another great bushwhack out from DJ, putting a stop to all this from Avatar mode as he still tries and does get the Sleight of Fist. Just barely. And it'll even TP out. So in the end, a positive trade here for OB.Neon, but John, in the meantime, Raven ends up taking the top tier 1, and Armel takes the bottom tier 1. So 2 tier 1s going down at the same time as now Enryu, again, under attack by Raven, is going to have to Sandstorm and just avoid the Morphling. But a big loss here for OB.Neon in terms of objectives.
Yeah, it's just massive. Map control is definitely in Fnatic's favor, and they managed to really buy space out for the course of farm. Armel has the Blink flying through. You've got Raven, who's got an uncontested lane, already has the Perseverance working into that Linken's. And this is a really strong early start for Fnatic. And remember, DJ did say if they win their lanes, they have a good game. That's what Fnatic wants. They certainly have found that. Neon, it's going to be a bit of a struggle in trying to give us the space, considering how aggressive Fnatic is. He doesn't have too many protected lanes to play in. We're still waiting for Avatar mode to hit that first early item to really melt some of these heroes down. Already has the phase boots at the least with the Blightstone, so there is some output. I think we really need to see the effect of that Chakra magic on Ember.
Not Asta. The blinks up from Armel. DJ's got the bushwhack into the sharpshooter. Laughs all around here from Fnatic as they find a great pickoff, and Enryu's getting tipped again. Leave Enryu alone. He had nothing to do with it.
You gotta tip the CEO, Mike, you know? Remember? John Well did say that Enryu Roy is the real CEO of Neon, as he's the only one left from the old stack, so laying it onto his former teammate. Always nice to see, but a rough game for Neon, Mike. 2-10, mid being shoved in now. And they're doing some good work in de-shoving. They've got a Keeper of the Light, so creep waves don't last too long. But it doesn't feel like they've got kill threat yet on Neon. Perhaps the blink on Enryu is going to be that turning point, and this should mean that they will be ready to take a few of these fights with the epicenter threat with the blink. They've got to work to find that angle, though. Like, they need to find some kills, because this game's starting to snowball out towards Fnatic's way.
Yeah. OB.Neon. A 3-man smoke up now with the blink up from Enryu. It's very easy to set up. They are going to try and find somebody worth something as Armel. He's a big target. They'll move in with the Inkstwall and the Burrow Strike. It's so much magic damage, but Jabs trying to save the day. Never got the snowball off. In fact, it was on CD the whole time. So Jabs just kind of blinking in to try and help, but just didn't have the spells to actually save Armel. Instead, top lane, they spot out Asta, and they're going to start moving in. DJ, he's there with Januels. They've got the homing missile to set up. They've got to get some heroes up here to help out Asta. He's all alone, and here come the TPs. The call down is even there into the sharpshooter, but they missed the bushwhack. It won't matter though, Jabs. He's in with the uppercut. He'll get the job done. Onto a bang they go with a great shards out. That'll be another. Back Jing. Almost losing his own life, but now Enryu going to move in to try and trade, but finds nothing as the bushwhack. Land again onto the Sand King. They've left Januel behind, but it won't matter. It's still a great trade for Fnatic, even if they lose this +5 gyro. Never mind though, Armel is coming back in to save the day, and it looks like he just has his Avatar mode. Is still trying, but is it really worth your life, Avatar? I don't think so, as he gets tipped mid-snowball. Jabs end up setting up another for the team. This Ember John, he got a little bit greedy for that +5 gyrocopter kill, and he does pay for it.
Yeah, I think the pressure is there onto Avatar mode. He knows that they need every single kill they can get. In the end, if you check the death recap, the fight recap, it's still beneficial. He gains 139 gold despite dying. So it's a worthwhile movement in the end because, you know, you're getting a net positive. Neon, it's good to see them kind of be on the aggressive now. Just smoking up again. They do not have epicenter. So their big combination with Magical Burst is mainly just with the Inkswell and Illuminate. Gonna have to see if it's enough.
This is a big one, John. Inkswell gonna land, but he got the Strength Morph off. He got the Strength Morph off in time. So Raven's fine. He's still surviving throughout all this as he waveforms away. In the meantime, mid lane, who have they got there? It's gonna be Avatar again. How does Raven react that quickly, Jonathan? In fact, never mind. He's gonna die anyway. Still rather impressive. Nonetheless, but OB.Neon, they still get the kill they came for. Problem is, can they get out now? The wraparound is there from Fnatic. They're going to try and find some stragglers. The snowball is out onto Jing. That should be your keeper dead, as Jab should have complete control with a great shards out. Jing's got nowhere to go. In the meantime, Enryu going to try and re-engage onto the gyrocopter, but Armel going to try and help, but no, never mind. The gyro's gone. Instead, they'll have to focus down a bang on the Grimstroke, and they might just have him. Who does it favor, John?
Definitely Fnatic at this point. You find a couple of free supports. You don't manage to get the core kills. You manage to take the mid tier 1. The map's just growing so small for the side of Neon. Now, while these fights do break out, at the least your Terrorblade is finding farm uncontested, but you're losing out on all your other cores. Enryu's falling behind. Avatar mode is severely behind. Bottom net worth core. 4.8k net worth on the Ember. He switched out from Desolator into Maelstrom because he knows that Deso is nice for fights. It's still a lot faster to farm with a Maelstrom with a procs on a wave. It's much easier to clear out the creeps, to clear out camps, outside of just spamming the Slide Fist. And that just shows you that they're missing out on that early physical spike they wanted to play with. Fnatic, 5k lead's not the widest lead we've seen at this point. It's still massive, although.
Jump in onto the gyro again, just trying to focus down Genuel, but now the turnaround is there as Armel going to jump in onto the Grimstroke. That'll be a bang. Is gone. Onto Enryu they go. Raven setting up one with the Burrow and the Bushwhack of DJ. So a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Fnatic once again. And all they're finding is this POS 5 gyrocopter. I don't think Fnatic will mind too much as they're even chasing down Jing now. Jabs knows he's around there somewhere. Blinding Light will be out. Shards is off the mark. He's got the Blink Dagger available, but he won't throw it out in the end. He'll even be as Armel. Even pops the Dragon form here. I believe he was looking for Asta. Instead, we'll just have to use the Dragon form to farm, but still Fnatic in a really big lead here in this game number 1.
Yeah, and they're still set to scale really well into that mid to late game. BKBs early on coming out for jabs, and for Armel, gonna be hard to pin them down now in the middle of these fights. That means your magical burst on the side of Neon with your Sand King combinations completely gone. So they've got to make plays before those items are up. They will go for a 4-man smoke. It's just a matter of finding heroes. They don't have offensive wards here on the side of Neon. They've only got one Obs watching that bot jungle, relying mainly on lane vision. We'll see if they can find even jabs here.
I'll try. Jabs, he's still got that Blink TP if he needs, as they do ping him out. Perfect scan from OB.Neon. Keep the information they need as Jabs still not recognizing what's happening. Does put the shards down, has a snowball, but with the silence, he won't be able to get it off. That'll be a nice pickup for OB.Neon now. And every kill means something here for this team as they are still quite far behind. The problem is in the meantime, John, you've still got Armel, you've still got Raven farming up, and well, quite frankly, that kill onto Jabs cost them pretty much all 5 heroes.
Yeah, it takes a lot of commitment out from Neon to find anything on the map, but you have to take what you can get. Again, you have to move now before these BKBs come in, because most of your damage is still magical. You're relying on the Inkswell, you're relying on Illuminate. Once BKBs are up, it gets a lot harder to even find that. So you take what you can get, you try to pressure some lanes, get some space out in the top jungle. Fnatic doing the same on the bot jungle. And they're really starting to hit those spikes. Even Raven's going for an early BKB, so just 2 defensive items on our Morphling. He knows that with Neon feeling that pressure to keep fighting, if he can just fight back, turn into Sand King, turn into Ember, you still have a really good time on the Morph without too much itemization. So he's just confident in his skills, and again, once these big BKBs are up in the cores, and this game becomes really hard for the side of Neon.
That it does, John, that it does. Still just trying to deal with that top tier 2 tower. Avatar mode does have the Deso up, so he does end up going for it instead of the Maelstrom. You've got to do what you got to do here as Avatar mode, and I think it's fair to assume that he can't really compete with Asta in terms of farm right now with the way this game's gone. Just go for that damage and kind of hope for the best. Meanwhile, bot lane Jing just trying to deal with this wave, kind of pushing in here thanks to Raven. Mid lane. Pings are flying out onto Enryu. It seems like Jabs wants to make the move in and instead goes onto a Bang. Burrow Strike will be out into the Inkswell, but the Sharpshooter from the side will be enough to take care of a Bang. In the meantime, Enryu, he finds Jabs, but it's going to cost his own life. Again, these trades are just not working in the favor of OB.Neon whatsoever.
Nah, I mean, they're just not winning cleanly. That, in a way, they still get gold from that because, again, they're so far behind. Every single kill while dying actually is a net gain for them anyway, but you're feeding off on Fnatic's bigger cores. Armel gets a kill, they all get some EXP going, they all get some good AoE gold going, and it just nullifies whatever gains you want. They have managed to stall out enough for Asta to actually be within striking range of Raven and Armel and farm. Our Terrorblade's within 100 gold. Considering how this game went, that's some pretty good recovery for Asta. He's got the Manta up, got one ultimate orb for the Scotty up. This Terrorblade can scale into the late, but you pointed this out in the draft a while ago, Mike. Like, you're playing Terrorblade into Morphling. At some point, Morphling will just morph into you, become a little Terrorblade with Metamorphosis, and yeah, you can't really deal with that. He just does a lot more damage than you would.
And on the brighter side, as she pointed out, you can't buy Ethereal Blade anymore on Morph. Well, you can, but it's not anywhere near as good, so you've got that going for you as this TB. But I do agree, John. I kind of worry about Raven just morphing into the TB and just taking the meta for himself. That is if he does want the TB at this rate. It feels like the Sand King morph is just much more valuable with that Burrow Strike here for Raven. Still mid lane, OB.Neon have wrapped around. Jabs barely going to avoid the burrow. Into the snowball now, avoiding the Inkswell. And we'll go on to the creep wave as Fnatic have rotated and they've got Jing down. Soulbind will be out Asta. He's going to try and fight, but he really can't. They've got to back out of there as Raven misses the burrow strike, and they even miss the bushwhack, but they won't miss the shards. They pick off a bang, though Asta looking to stand his ground and trying to fight this one out. Mel's going to move back in with the stun out, and DJ, he has the bushwhack, so Asta, he stuck around a bit too long. He had no chance to get the Sunder out. And I feel like without a BKB, you just cannot fight into the disable of Fnatic. Not for this TB.
He's not going to have a BKB for quite a while as well, Mike, because, again, he's still building into Scotty. He's not rushing the spell immunity at all. So Fnatic has this massive window where he can just run in with their own BKBs, get the kills they need, apply that pressure straight into Roshan here as well. Doesn't take too long with all the damage they've got running on literally every single hero. And I don't know, I don't see any way you deal with 2 lives here. He will go for the fight, though.
Oh, Enryu, he blinked a bit too short. It won't matter. He's still in Raven, though. He's too quick on the fingers. Enryu gets blown up. Avatar mode. Can you salvage? It doesn't seem like it. Just run. Just get out of there. Oh, a bit short on the blink. Couldn't line up a good burrow strike for Enryu, and it's just going to be another victory here for Fnatic.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Neon. I mean, it's a very risky play, but they had to make it, because 2 lives on Raven just feels like they don't have enough to handle it, especially if Raven plays smartly with his BKB. And you're just going to see that build up for Fnatic now. 9k up, they've still got a lot of scaling left with their DK and with their Morphling. Heck, even the Tusk has a lot of room to grow. We're seeing Jabs go for the Ags next. So he's going to have that Walrus quick with the blink up, reposition the supports into the back, or into the front, and just burst them down quickly, making it a numbers advantage for Fnatic off the bat. Neon, they still need a lot more farm on Asta, and it feels like, you mentioned it, they were putting all their eggs in one basket. You do actually need farm on your Ember. Like, just Desolator phase boots at 23 minutes in doesn't do anything. You don't have much presence, you're very vulnerable to control. It feels like he's gonna need that defensive item up, going for the Linken's in this case, into the Daedalus, which is gonna be nice. Jabs though?
Yeah, moving in. Walrus Punch is out top lane, into the bushwhack again, and the sharpshooter. It's so much damage. Like, this combination between DJ and Jabs, so much damage as Enryu goes in for a burrow strike. DJ, though, he's just going to go right into a bushwhack. Cancels off the TP. Soulbind is there, but what does it matter? It means nothing. They won't even be able to find the hoodwink. DJ will survive through it, though. Can they maybe get the Sanking out of here? Jabs. Whoopsie. Bit of an awkward snowball there from Jabs as Enryu. Still not out of danger yet. Oh, never mind, Jabs. All right, Jabs, never mind. We didn't see that mistake. Jabs, stop it. Come on, I can only defend you so many times, Jabs. Get out of there.
You know, sometimes it happens. It works out in the end, you know, Mike. They don't waste too much time there. They find the kills they want. They punish Neon for going a bit far, and it's getting so hard for them to find farm across the map. Like, Avatar mode is forced to take these lanes really far. He's the most mobile hero. He's still not very secure. The Linken's will help. I feel like a BKB might even be necessary, considering just how well DJ is playing. I think Linken's is not going to block that bushwhack. It's still going to be able to lock you in, so you always have DJ for that long-range control. And they're still holding steady on that leader, just applying pressure onto every lane, looking like they're eyeing mid for a bit, but they might just play it safe. No pressure on Fnatic to take it too fast. The pressure is on Neon to kind of regain ground. They need to be the ones being aggressive, and they have been trying. It's just never on targets they can burst down quick, and it mainly boils down into this net worth. They had this early spike, they had these combinations with the Keeper of the Light, you know, Illuminate, Burrow Strike. It didn't do enough in lane. They haven't been able to play much with the Chakra Magic Sleight of Fist as well. And now it's all about just giving us as much time as he needs.
Oh, DJ, there's your Dragon Tail into the bushwhack. And let me tell you, John, as a hoodwink spammer myself, that Ags is very, very potent. The spell amp gets kind of ridiculous, and even the plus 350 damage is kind of nice. And think about it, John, you're against a Terrorblade who relies on armor. It's going to be problematic for OB.Neon.
definitely is. You have to remember the stat resist reduction as well. Like that, I think that's the only thing that drops status resistance, so it makes your stuns longer if you don't have something like a Sanj and you don't have anything like that for the TB. So it just makes it easier to control down these heroes. We're seeing Raven turn into that little Terrorblade now as well.
There we go, Raven, very confident to just jump in onto a Bang with that BKB up. He does still have the Aegis, and with the reflection now, a Bang is within sights, but they can't finish the job yet. A Bang, he'll survive, but never mind, Raven, he's in. In the meantime, Jab's trying to chase down Asta, but they missed the bushwhack. Had they landed that, I think you might have had another TB kill, but the bushwhack was just off the mark. So instead, Fnatic, they're going to go towards that top tier 2 tower, and it's going to be very easy pickings. Especially while you've got Raven here with that metaform. Still, OB.Neon, they're going to try and slow this down as Enryu will jump in, but the snowball is there from Jabs. Yules to just juke out the bushwhacks to Armel. He's copying a lot of damage as Asta. He's trying to move in. Jabs dropping and does go down. A nice pick up there from OB.Neon. That'll be about it, though. They'll protect the tier 2 top. They'll get a kill. They'll even wait out the Aegis timing. And maybe now OB.Neon can try to make some moves here against Fnatic.
Yeah, with a Scotty up on Asta, you can get control on that DK, onto that Morphling a lot better. So as long as Asta's got that Metamorphosis, they can choose their fights now on the side of Neon, but Fnatic are just too quick to on the retreat. You know, they still have superior map control, they still have the options to back off and farm elsewhere, although they will be playing under Neon Vision if they do play bot. So Neon's ward investment should pay off. Considering where Fnatic wants to play right now. And I think for Neon, they've just got to play off this momentum. Keep running, keep looking for those kills, keep being aggressive and punishing some of the overextensions Fnatic wants to do. Some of that greed that they're trying to enable by getting everyone farming up here.
Armel, down a bot lane, is currently being stalked by 3 heroes here from OB.Neon. Oh, is he going to go for that creep wave? It's the classic creep wave, but he does blink away. He'll be okay. Sleight of Fist already used up from Avatar mode, so he cannot scout him out. They won't even bother trying, even with the remnants. And now Fnatic, they've grouped up again, Jonathan. 4-man smoke, Raven. He'll just stand behind the team. There's Jabs, he'll take the front line, smoke broken, but Armel jumps in, misses the stun of the Sand King, but it won't matter. They've already got Jing, a Bang, he's going to try and TP out, but they've just got so much damage. Even Januel on this POS 5 gyrocopter, just ripping him apart. And again, OB.Neon just forced to back towards the base. So they just can't catch a break.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. You can see Bang already spamming the GG well played on his ally chat. So it's a bit of the state of game there. I think the issues for Neon are mainly maybe down to draft. Like, it feels like this kind of draft requires very specific execution. They had to play around with the Burst Strike Inkswell, which we saw a little bit in the early game. Asta's not safe here as well, TJ.
Oh, no, he's not, John. No, he is not. They've got the Fatal Discord on top of it. My God, it's just so much magic cap. How are you meant to survive this?
You don't. I really feel like it's the stat resist that really holds you down. You saw how long that stun was at the end? Like, the bar was moving so slow. It's just ridiculous how much that gives you. And again, for Neon, it feels like this lineup needed you to play in a very specific style. You needed to maybe even win out your mid lane. Avatar mode didn't have the best of times managing that lane. It also comes down to hero choice. Like, Bang plays a very roamy pause. Jing plays a really roamy pause 4. You don't really do that in Keeper of the Light, right? Like, we've seen Jing play stuff like the Mirana himself. We've seen him play even something like an Earth Spirit before, Snapfire. More aggressive sort of supports that than Playmake. You don't really Playmake on the Keeper. You could play with some setup on the Sand King, but you can't do it independently, and I think that's what held back Neon from finding that early momentum. Their movement as tree just didn't line up.
What lane? Jabs. Jabs? Jabs?
Jeez.
Alright. Never. Fine. 4 heroes up top. He'll just go for a solo kill and TP out. I mean, it's...
Yep.
What was it? The classic high risk, low reward play here from Fnatic now, and I suppose it works.
Not really high risk. He had VKB. He knew what he was doing, you know. He had a safety net, so you know, any kill to rush your Ags there. Jing looking like he might be able to save himself at the very least. No smokes to break. Unfortunately, Armel doesn't decide to check. Does have the TP out at the very least, so he's not under actual threat. But Fnatic have, again, they've just maintained this map control for, I want to say, the past 15, maybe even 20 minutes at the 10-minute mark. They could just wait out this next Roshan here, Mike, a minute 40 away. I mean, there's no pressure for Fnatic. All the pressure is still on Neon. Mind you, again, I still have to point out, Asta is within 2,000 gold of Morphling. So, considering how bad this game has been, the Terribly, it's still a factor.
Jonathan, let me tell you, DJ, they found a psychic headband. I think DJ's going to be very happy with that. So do they even give it over to him? I mean, no, they are going to give it over to him. Of course they are. The dream item for a Hoodwink player, Jonathan. That extra cast range really does get quite annoying. This Fnatic, they're waiting for a fight. Enryu the one to jump in on to Januel. They might just burst down this gyrocopter and they'll get him. Mel still moving forward, trying to go on to the Sand King. Misses the stun again, but they've got the bushwhack into the boomerang and the sharpshooter. DJ just getting it done on his own. And in the meantime, Jing just gets destroyed by Raven. He'll go for a BKB TP out. DJ literally just soloed the Sand King, John, and now Jabs jumps in again. All right, Jabs, can you get out this time? Apparently he can. Just TP.
Yep, just TP. Nothing can go through that BKB. Again, okay, that was a bit more high risk, Mike, but still works out. He gets the money for the Ags now, so he's got the Walrus kick. Can reposition heroes in these fights, drag the back line to the front line, makes it easier to handle. You can really put the Terrorblade in an awkward position. If he gets thrown away in the middle of a fight, it's not going to feel great. It's always a massive commitment when you come in with that metamorphosis. And now you have a lot of tools to deal with that on the side of Fnatic, especially since that also goes through BKB. So you're not really very well protected anymore on Asta. He can't just stand there and keep the right clicks going. He has to be very aware of his positioning, as he's going to be relatively easy to punish there if he's not careful.
Well, Satanic now up on Raven, going to make life even harder here for OB.Neon as they move into that Roshan pit. Second Roshan of the game means the Shards and Aegis are up. And Fnatic just going to take this one for free. Nothing in their way to stop them. I wonder who you give the Shards over to. It does seem like you've already got one on Genuel. You've got one on Armel. So naturally Raven will take it for himself. Or does he? No, he'll... Yes, he does. He will take the Shards for himself.
Fair enough. I thought he might want to give that to, you know, maybe Jabs. Give the Ice Shard a little bit of a better form. Give it some damage. But it's alright. You know carry players, Mike. You know how it is. Sometimes they just want that for themselves.
Of course they do. They always want it for themselves, John. You know that. Don't say sometimes. They always take it. Whatever Roshan drops, it's all theirs. Fnatic. Top lane, do they want to keep going? I mean, they seem very powerful right now, John. 21k net worth lead here for the Dire side, and quite frankly, again, OB.Neon, while they have shown some signs of life, it's not really too much. Instead, top lane, Raven will just go ahead and address the bottom lane, get rid of that creep wave. And even if OB.Neon wanted to, they really don't have the bodies to try and deal with Raven right now. They'll just leave him be to deal with this lane, and instead OB.Neon, they'll just TP across the map, trying to take the time to farm up, get Aster a bit more time to get that Chrysalis up and have a bit more damage. Is now Fnatic smoked up again, looking for another great team fight for themselves. But all their targets are currently in the Radiant base. Unless you look at the top lane, where Avatar mode is going to try and go ahead and split push this one out. DJ. No, Acorn shot. But quick reactions here from the Ember instead. Armel going to jump in onto a Bang, but the Sand King is there with the Burrow Strike. Still a Bang. Trying to back off with the Glimmer Cape, but it's not going to be enough. Armel even getting sundered here for a Bang just to try and give him a chance at life. It's just not going to work out. Armel will just follow him down, and even Enryu to drop. DJ takes that one, and it might be high ground time, John. Neither of those heroes have buyback.
Nope. You've got the AC up and running on Armel. You've got Aegis running for about 3 more minutes here. No reason to back off for the side of Fnatic. They can just slowly chip away at these objectives. Doesn't take too long, although...
DJ. Oh, that's a great Walrus kick, Asta. He's been thrown out of position, and he can't run because Raven just slows him down. Shards out, though. May actually protect Asta, but no, they're just playing games with him. They are just playing around with the Terrorblade as Asta even gives the tip over to Jabs, saying thank you for the attempt. DJ was not having it, though, Jonathan.
No, He's certainly not, and he's had a really great game. And you've talked about DJ the entire match, Mike. He's 11-1-19. He's been on a very solid run this game, having more presence than Armel at 7-1-14. So, you know, you tell me who's the actual core. It feels like DJ's been taking control and dictating this game start to finish so far. High ground doesn't take too long. You've still got the Aegis up for 2 minutes, and you even have that full E-Blade up for DJ. So, yeah, I don't know what you do now.
Oh, DJ, he's going to try and snipe Avatar mode bot lane. Let's see if he can make it happen, perhaps, as Avatar. He's going to go back for a DJ, being very patient here. Does he have enough to blow him up? Bushwhack's going to land. Avatar, no!
Huh?
Wait a minute.
DJ...
How does that work?
What? Huh? Did he
was
psychic
left
headband. He psychic headband.
Oh.
He psychic headband after mode. Why?
Why, DJ? Why are you doing this, DJ?
Warning shots. Warning shots. Right? It's like, I could have killed you. I'm gonna let you live. I'm a man of mercy.
Yeah, I mean, Neon Gang, all you like, but DJ, he's the guy firing shots here on this hoodwink. Neon Gang, so currently no response as Fnatic. They're going to move in again to the high ground, it seems. As they already got one top racks. So big smoke up. OB.Neon. Try and wrap around, but Jabs, he'll be in position to break the smoke if they go to the high ground of that Radiant jungle. So they're going to try and loop around the long way here as they get some wards down, but Fnatic, they are still grouped up as a team, ready to go whenever.
Let us fight.
OB.Neon. They'll take the bounty rune, that's something. I believe that's all they're getting though. They'll get some more wards down. DJ has been sorted out. Enryu gonna be able to initiate with the Burrow Strike and the Inkswell, though DJ, he's still running. Shards out. Never mind, there's your snowball. Gonna help DJ get out of there, as he will be able to re-initiate later on. Instead, Epicenter is there from Enryu. DJ still being chased down, but he does get the sharpshooter in time before he does end up dropping. It'll be a 1-for-1 of the supports as DJ, he'll buy back. In the meantime, Raven, he's taken out Asta. That's just POS1 TB immediately just deleted here by the Morphling. And they see Enryu. They want that Sand King. And they'll chase him down. On the other side, Avatar mode still just trying to run away from DJ, but there's your Bushwhack out. They'll find the Ember. They're onto the Sand King to boot. Enryu's got nowhere to go.
Nope.
Complete domination by Fnatic, and GG's called. They've had enough.
Yeah, it's a tough game to come back to. I think that smoke play was like their Hail Mary, hoping to find something big. They only really find DJ, so unfortunately for DJ, from 1 death to 2 deaths, 100% increase for him in this game. But they play fantastically well on Fnatic. This is the Fnatic we were looking for in those regional finals. There's in recent tournaments as well in Dubai that we didn't quite see. They are back in form. It's as the panel says, though, they tend to really deliver when it's expected. And this is one of the cases. Now, for Neon, it felt like, again, when it came down to the draft, it required very specific execution and timings to be met, along with the fact that you gave Jing something that is not as active. Like, if you look at his pub profile, as Sheepo pointed out, those are all very active roamers. Keeper of Light is just not one of those heroes. So I think Neon's got to play to the strengths of their individual players, and hopefully we see that in game number 2.
Absolutely, John. We are going to head off to a short break, though, and we'll be back with our panel to discuss this game one. We'll see you then.